Hello everyone, thank you all for joining us on today's webinar, the A to Z of brand protection. This webinar has been presented by myself, Alan. I'm an account manager with Instra Corporation and have been in the industry for 12 years. And Leon, who is a brand development manager with our sister company, BrandShelter. Leon has been in the IT industry for 19 years and with BrandShelter for 4 years.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to everyone joining us from near and afar.
So the agenda for today is focusing on the immediate need to protect your brand, the 4 key aspects of brand protection, how BrandShelter can help you. The chat section will be open for you to ask any questions that you may have during this presentation, which we will answer if time allows at the end. Any questions that we do not get to, we will collate and respond to later on for everyone. So the digital journey of growing a brand and company is you start off by growing your business. So you choose from a wide range of domain endings to establish your brand online. Then you start to protect your brand. So going beyond the basic domain registration to protect your brand online, and then expand internationally. Tap into new markets with localized domains, country-specific domains like .au, .co.nz, or .ae. As a domain name provider with over 200 country-level extensions, we can assist you with any domain, no matter which part of the world you're in. We also want to support the digital journey of your business by supporting you with more than just domain names and website services. Our focus during this webinar is protect your brand. To ensure that you get the support and services you need, we'd like to introduce our sister company, BrandShelter.com, the online brand protection specialist for companies and trademark owners. I'll now hand you over to Leon, who will run you through the A to Zs.
Thank you, Alan, and welcome. So who is BrandShelter? We were founded in 2009. BrandShelter is a specialist corporate domain management and brand protection business for brand owners, medium-sized to large enterprise customers, and also IP brand lawyers. BrandShelter has offices around the globe from North America, UK, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. BrandShelter is part of the CentralNic Group. CentralNic has been operating for over 25 years and is one of the largest domain companies offering online presence solutions. To provide you a few numbers on CentralNic, CentralNic's headquarters is based out of London, and we are located in 27 countries globally. We currently have over 50 million domains under management. We have 2.5 million SMB clients under management. We also have 250,000 retail customers and over 1,000 corporate clients. Our largest customer domain count is a little over 42,000 domains out of North America, Johnson & Johnson, who is a BrandShelter customer. CentralNic is also listed on the London Stock Exchange. Okay, so here we have a snapshot of some of the brands trusted who trust BrandShelter to manage their digital portfolio and both brand and local and international companies. At BrandShelter, we are focused on providing tailored solutions to meet every type of client's needs and fit their digital strategy. We have a dedicated account manager team backed by expert support teams. Your brand is the most valuable asset. So let's talk about the immediate need to protect your brand. This statement has never been more pertinent than in today's climate. Since the global COVID pandemic, we have seen a huge shift in how we as business owners and individuals operate online. Businesses and employees are still working remotely and will continue to do so. That has driven more people online for things like shopping, using and accessing business services online. And of course, this has opened up a huge potential for cyber criminals to take advantage. Failing to defend your brand names online can lead to a number of problems. It can seriously impact your operations via unsecured, cheap, or free DNS solutions. without having in place a robust DNS solution can open up your business to DDoS attacks, causing huge headaches, halting your operations, causing a knock-on effect to your revenue stream. By using BrandShelter's Ultra DNS solution, backed by Neustar, one of the global leaders in DNS security, you can be guaranteed of 100% uptime, a 24/7 support on an Anycast system, which has 30 nodes globally with local servers here in Australia. Cyber criminals are constantly adapting their approach of impersonating brands online, making it even harder to detect without proper mechanisms in place to identify these threats. These threats can cause huge reputational damage through phishing attacks, diverting traffic away from your site, or duping customers by selling counterfeit products, or even worse, defiling your brand and reputation through X-rated material. All of these situations are real examples of brand infringements. Most brand owners are aware of infringements that need to be taken down, but either don't know where to start or are concerned about spiraling legal fees. That's where BrandShelter can help. We provide clear, professional advice on enforcement options that address each customer's unique and specific needs that control those legal implications. So how might we do this, you ask? Here are some of the services we can help customers to protect their brands. I won't go through all of these, but just to touch on a few, the adult block service is a unique service, whereas it blocks all 4 adult-themed TLDs directly with the registry. That's .porn, .xxx, .sex, and .adult, removing these from public registration and disassociating them with your key brands. We have monitoring services across social media, internet monitoring, and domain name monitoring is key to your brand reputation and how it's perceived online. We have DPML, which stands for Domains Protected Mark List. This is a unique blocking service which blocks over 200 TLDs directly with the registry and against your trademarks and brand name. This can be a fraction of the cost of defensive registrations. We have the Trademark Clearinghouse, or TMCH as we refer to. It's a global database of trademarks for brand owners. Once a trademark is uploaded into their database, it provides brand owners an early warning system when someone attempts to register a domain against the trademark. It also gives brand owners a priority registration period on new GTLD releases for the likes of .medicine or .brand, etc., before they even become released to the public. So, the 4 key aspects of brand protection. So let's take a deeper dive into BrandShelter's complete 360 approach to brand protection strategy. Stage 1 is prevention. Managing your domain portfolio effectively is the first step in prevention. Having a single vendor portal to manage all your domain portfolio in one spot is key to keeping control of your digital assets. I personally have helped numerous customers who have been managing their portfolio across 5 to 6 different registrars with multiple logins, multiple invoices, each with their own complex customer portals. This can cause a number of problems in itself with user access, renewal notices, and potential domain expiries. BrandShelter provides you access to register any domain extension around the world in real time, with the few exceptions of CCTLDs, that's country code TLDs, that require some manual intervention with supporting documentation. BrandShelter has also built API connections with nearly all registries where possible to provide real-time registrations. You simply add a domain to your cart, complete the order, and your domain is registered. We also set every domain to auto-renew, so you never have to worry about a key domain name expiring or lapsing, which can cause huge problems for operations, customers, and ultimately your revenue stream. The amount of times I've dealt with a distraught business owner in previous roles whose services are down and their phones are ringing off the hook due to a single domain renewal are more than I'd like to remember. Our migration experts take the hassle out of moving a complex domain portfolio across multiple registrars into BrandShelter. We perform thorough checks across your portfolio and gather DNS records and cross-reference with every customer when creating records in our portal ahead of migrating in your domain portfolio. Our migration experts also offer the white glove service where we'll act on your behalf where possible, with all third parties to obtain as much detail and records to remove that workload, manpower, and resource, which can result in a costly exercise for a business owner. BrandShelter's customer portal has been built with security front and center. There are a number of security features that we can turn on or off depending on your company approach and your own security policy. We have a few things like user access and permissions. You can have IP login restrictions. We have 2FA requirements for logging in, user actions and approvals. We can even have siloed domain portfolios for departmental budgeting requirements, and even separate invoicing for internal departments, right through to the white label reseller setup. Our dev teams are constantly listening to our customers and developing more features with the likes of SSO currently in development. In fact, all of these security features have come from customer requirements. So stage 2 of our 360 approach is detection and having a clear understanding of current and existing threats against your brand. Monitoring services are the front line of defense when it comes to identifying threats. Without a monitoring service, most companies are unaware of their brand being used illegally online. At BrandShelter, we provide 2 types of domain monitoring to identify current and future threats. For a brand owner to understand existing infringements and threats already in the market, we can perform a portfolio analysis of key brands and trademarks. So for instance, the search results we capture exact matches and or of trademark matches, domain names which contain a brand name or trademark in it, or visually similar domain names and typos. So for example, the report would pick up BrandShelter, the word BrandShelter, or BrandShelter spelled B-A-R-N, where 2 of those letters have been swapped around. This is called typo squatting. Another example this will capture is lookalike domains. These are similar to typo squatting, but in this case, one of the letters is replaced with a similar looking letter. So in the case with BrandShelter, instead of L, it's replaced with an I, or a lookalike domain might have 2 letters where there should only be 1, 2 L's in BrandShelter instead of the 1. Not only can we pick up these variations, we go much further in catching homographical similar domains. These are words that share the same written form as another word, but have a different meaning or pronunciation. Internationalized domain names, or IDNs, use alternative script lookup tables to represent international scripts and characters. These work in similar fashion to lookalike domains, but use IDN tables to create a domain name that is visually identical to a brand name, but is logically unique. So, for an example, with brandshelter.com, cybercriminals would replace the letter A, which is in Latin script, with an A from the Cyrillic alphabet. This is called a homoglyph letter. Visually, there is no difference, but the way a computer interprets this is completely different. A homograph domain names are a deliberate attempt to fool the internet users into following a link in an email or a web browser, which will take the users to a website that is either used for the purpose of phishing, selling counterfeit products, or delivering misleading and false claims or negative publicity about the brand. So with performing this type of monitoring report, capturing all existing registered domains or any domains that have recently lapsed and expired, will provide a brand owner a good understanding of the existing threats in the market today. We have run this type of report before for customers capturing everything as far back as the 70s, when the birth of email began. So now, as a brand owner, you've got insight to the current threats and infringements in the market, but what about new registrations? Did you know that there is about 100,000 new domains registered every single day around the world? That's a massive task as a brand owner to keep on top of to capture any future infringements. That's where BrandShelter's monitoring report or domain watch can help. This type of domain monitoring captures all the same type of content we just discussed in a portfolio analysis, but as you imagine, all future domains. This report is capturing every single day a domain is registered within the parameters requested. That's a lot of data it's collecting. So that's where we can tailor how we deliver these results to a company. We can provide a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly report, depending on the volumes and customer requirements. The results are delivered in a secure portal, which clearly indicate the infringing domain, DNS, and whether there are any MX records being used for email. We also display the URL, and if a website is hosted, a screenshot of that content. We can also deliver these reports via email to a customer. So once a brand owner has this data, what do you do with it and where do you start? Well, at BrandShelter, we can help with that. We have expert analysts who talk you through what all this means and decipher this into manageable content. Our analysts can advise on options with each infringement and whether there should be action taken. These actions vary depending on infringing domain and content. So in some cases, it might be as simple as the brand owner wishes to purchase that domain as it's valuable to their brand. Our expert anonymous acquisition team can assist. If there are lookalike domains that are infringing, you might want to have that domain deregistered. Our team liaises with the registrars and registries to make this happen. There may be a case of counterfeit products hosted on a website, duping customers into thinking it's legitimate. I've personally worked with one of the top global women fashion brands, and we act on their behalf to have counterfeit websites and products taken down immediately. The domain is deregistered, and the website hosting provider takes down the content. Unfortunately, that's not where it ends. Cyber criminals are all too familiar with this and will spin up a new website doing the same thing all over again. That's why having a domain monitoring service in place is key and pivotal to capturing and stopping these infringements from happening. So now you have a handle on existing and future infringements occurring, but what about your existing portfolio? Analyzing your own domain portfolio is a really good step to having a good domain strategy of your digital assets. Over time, brand owners have been registering domains from all around the world and new TLD extensions as they come available in a bid to protect their brand. This is called defensive registrations. This is an okay practice, but it can turn into a costly one. When BrandShelter analyzes your domain portfolio, it can bring to light a number of things. We will understand if you have a domain name policy with consistent contacts across your portfolio. With nearly all of my customers, I've helped migrate their portfolio into BrandShelter. They've had legacy contacts attached to their portfolio, from the CEO who's kickstarted their digital journey, right through to different individuals and even staff who have left the company. We will help and advise customers on having a consistent and anonymous contact set across their portfolio. You don't want your CEO's name and email attached to your domains. That is a perfect scenario for cyber criminals to spam and use phishing techniques to trick people or staff. We also scan all DNS records across your portfolio and make suggestions of null records and best practice. So once we have performed a full analysis of your domain portfolio, we can then provide critical information to help identify risks in your portfolio and underutilized domains. We provide advice on where you as a brand owner can reduce costs and drop certain domains that you don't need, costing you yearly renewal costs. We will also make suggestions to gaps in your portfolio after understanding your digital strategy. There may be some TLD extensions that your business hasn't thought of and are aligned with your direction and brand your company has. We can help register and acquire these domains to strengthen your brand. So now it's time for a call to action. Previously mentioned, We can advise on new unregistered domains and extensions that your company should register. This is straightforward. There also might be some domains important to your brand that are already registered. So how do you go about obtaining these? Well, you can attempt to contact the registrant yourself to buy these domains, but this can be risky and an expensive route to go down. Once that registrant who is sitting on these domains, we call either domainers or domain squatters, know and understand the person looking to buy this domain or buy their domain is the brand, it's payday for them. They will want to charge you the earth because they know the value of this domain to your brand. This is where utilizing our anonymous acquisition team comes into play. They set an agreed budget with a brand owner and go through the process to acquire that said domain. Sometimes this practice can be challenging. And as acquisition experts have a number of ways to find out and reach the registrant where it may be hidden from the public who is information. We act anonymously, of course, so the domain owner doesn't know we are from BrandShelter or acting on your behalf. Our team are very successful in this area and have a very high success rate. Through these audits and monitoring reports, there may be the need for legal involved. We have IP legal experts. They know and understand the domain landscape of dealing with registrars and registries, and can advise on the best course of action. Sometimes using your own legal experts can be sometimes using our legal experts can be a fraction of the cost of having a dedicated IP lawyer get involved. So how can we help? So this brings us to the full 360 approach of managing your domain portfolio. Once a company or a brand owner has a clear domain name policy and are following best practices with an understanding of the current and future threats, you can stay ahead of cyber criminals that are forever adapting and changing their approach. With BrandShelter, we'll help manage and optimize your domain portfolio so you're getting the best bang for buck out of your digital portfolio. We can continue to help and manage these assets securely with the correct SSLs in place and DNS services. And of course, monitoring for any threats to defend your brand with an ever-changing digital landscape of the internet. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of today's presentation. I hope everyone that has joined has found this informative and useful and brought to light some aspects about your brand that you may not be aware of. We're now going to have a look at some questions from the audience and take some questions. I'd like to also make a note of, we have both under the files and also in the offer, there is 2 sections you can download some information through. The offers will take you to our website for some further information, and the files will have some further information of on the products that we've talked about today. So we're just going to give it a little minute while we check on the questions, and we'll answer as many as we can. Okay, I might just cover off one of the quick questions we've received. Yes, this session is being recorded. It will be shared with all attendees who have joined and didn't make it today. So you'll be able to watch this back to your heart's content. So not a problem there. Just going to give it another few minutes for some further questions. Okay, actually, we've got another question that's come through. Someone has asked, there seems like quite a lot of services here for a small business like my own to take on board. How do you advise a smaller SMB like mine tackle these services? That's a great question, and thank you. You are right. There are a lot of services here that may or may not be pertinent to your own business. And we don't suggest that you use everything I've talked about here today. That's where BrandShelter's consultative approach and understanding a company's strategy is key. We'll make some recommendations to the best services for your immediate needs. There's no one solution that fits all companies. You can cherry pick these services and you'll get the best return for your investment. Okay, I hope that's answered your question. I am from a law firm, and we have our own methods of identifying threats for our customers, and we deliver all legal service enforcement actions you've discussed here. How would this help our firm? Well, thank you. And yes, I understand your concern. We don't intend to take away any business or detract from your core business with your clients. We actually complement your services that you provide your clients. So our investigation and analysis of threats in the market are extremely comprehensive. We've actually had some independent tests done comparing our monitoring services and audit results with some of the best brand protection providers in the world. And our services have come out on top with the level of detail and findings we can produce. So we currently work actually with a few IP law firms where we complement their services by providing this in-depth and thorough investigation report and then hand that over to them to deliver their enforcement actions and perform their legal requirements. So by no means do we look to replace, we only look to complement what you're already doing. Great question. Thank you very much. Someone has asked your monitoring service. Is this based on searching for a single domain per report? So if I had multiple brands that I required monitoring from, would this be charged multiple times over? This sounds like an expensive exercise. So not at all. When we perform a monitoring report, we include variations of your brand name for the same cost. So if we were to search for BrandShelter, we could include BrandShelter Shop, BrandShelter School. And also, when we have multiple brands that you require monitoring, the package prices that we have reduce individual costs. So actually, the more individual brands you require monitoring services, the cheaper it becomes. I hope that has answered and helped someone as well. Okay, someone has got a question about our social media monitoring and what does a brand really need to monitor? That's fantastic. I'm actually working with a key client at the moment who has a big problem with social media and their brands in the market, false brands. So similar to domain name monitoring, social media monitoring will monitor across multiple social platforms, from Facebook to Reddit to Twitter. There is a long string of socials that we cover, and we're looking for keywords and images that are out there. So that's delivered very similar to a domain monitoring report, providing the same detail. But it's key for brand owners who have individual products that are out there and are being sold illicitly or sold fraudulently. Definitely something for big brand owners and potentially pharmaceuticals to keep an eye across. Okay, someone's asked where BrandShelter is based. We're clearly obviously based here in Australia, and we also have offices in HQ in North America, with staff based all across Europe, UK, and here. And we have our office based out of Melbourne is the HQ for Australia. Okay, well, look, I think we will wrap that up there. Again, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to join us. Don't forget to take a look at both under the offers and the files. We should have, I'm just checking. Okay, we've got something there under the offers, and we will send out a link to everyone that's joined today and all the participants that were unable to join. And obviously we will also be sharing this potentially across our socials as well. Okay, once again, I want to thank Alan and everyone for joining. I'd please love to hear any feedback of anyone that has. We've got contact details up there on screen at the moment, so please do feel free to reach out if you've got any questions around what we've discussed today. Thank you.
And I'd just like to say thank you, Leon, for an insightful presentation, very informative. And thank you to everyone that has joined us today. So I hope you have all a lovely day.
Thank you very much.